Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today I'm going to show you how to knit fingers and the thumb for the glove on a knitting machine, especially the one like LK150. You don't have a rebar, so you cannot do circular knitting. So we are going to do sew as you go, and you can knit them separately, starting and ending with waste yarn, and sew it back to your main part of the gloves. Here I start with some waste yarn. I'm going to change to my main yarn. I'm using worsted weight and I have 7 stitches. So that's one side of the glove, and we go up, knit the shaping, and then come back down, knit the length. So the whole finger will have totally of 14 stitches in the round. And if you use a thinner yarn, maybe sports weight or sock yarn, you can add more stitches. It's the same idea. I'm trying to make the thumb stitch, so my measurement is about 14 rows. So I'm going to knit 14 rows. And now we will start to do the shaping. There are many ways of doing short row shaping. On the LK150, we change the rustle level from 2 to 1 on both sides. So if you push the needle to the D position, that needle will not knit. And the rule of thumb for short row shaping is 1/3 of the stitch, similar to the short row in the toes for the socks. So we divide it roughly to 3 parts. And since we only have 7 stitches, we can do 2, 3 in the middle and 2 on the side. Or we can do 3, 1, 3. I think it makes more sense to have 2 on each side and leave the tip 3 stitches. So I'm going to start from the needle away from the carriage side. Just push it to the D position and knit 1 row. And you can see this stitch is not knitted. And next we do the other side. That's also away from the carriage. Push all the way to the D. And if we just knit it back, there will be a gap between the first and second stitch here. So we have to rub the yarn below. And then we knit 1 row. And then we push out the other needle all the way to D position. And we have to rub the yarn below the needle that's close to the carriage. Otherwise, it can leave a gap. Now we do the last one. Push this one opposite to the carriage all the way to D. And the previous needle here, we will rub it below the needle. Now we finish the decrease, and then we are going to increase back. So there are several ways to do that. You can see the yarn is now close to the center on the right side. I will place the yarn below that needle and then pull the yarn back to the C position. So it's a little bit open. This way you will knit back. So it will be 1 stitch increased. And we do the same on the left side. Place the yarn below the needle and then push the needle back to the C position and knit back. And the same on the right side. Rub the yarn below, push it back to C position. Now this side's done, the last one. You can push it back first and then rub the yarn, the last stitch. Now we finish the short row shaping. If you see closely, there is a little pocket. Because the pocket is not very big, so it doesn't cause problem. Sometimes if you're doing a deeper pocket here, you will need a lot of weight, or at least pull it down with your hand so the stitch doesn't pop out. Now the only thing is to knit back. I'm going to pick up the stitches as I knit it back, or you can just knit it and then sew up the sides later. And it will be easier if you do it at the same time, because if you are doing the 5 fingers, it will be a lot of sewing later. So here is a little bit confusing part. That's which stitch to pick. When we look closely, this is a stitch on the needle. This is another stitch that's connected. For machine knitting, you usually have a little knot and then a longer stitch, a small stitch, or it looks like a knot and then long one. So when we pick up, we see this is the current stitch and this is a stretched out stitch, and that's a first knot below. We pick up the bar below. This is actually part of the V if you turn it around. And I like to pick up just one side so it's not too bulky. So that's a stitch we pick up, and the same on the right side. Sometimes it's not easy to see. This is a stitch, the stretched one. There's a knot, and then that's the bar. And pick up that bar. And it's easier to push all the way out to D. Make sure you set the lever back to 2 for the standard knitting. And we'll knit 1 row. And we'll just keep doing the same until we go back down all the way. See, this one is stretched out, and there's a knot below, and the one below that. On the right side, this one is stretched, there's a knot. And pick up this one. This one is stretched, there's a knot. The bar below. This one is stretched, there's a knot here. The bar here. And I'm holding down with my finger because it's not that easy to place the weight, or you can place away from behind. And we just continue doing that. It's stretched, there's a knot. And when you are at the end, you can just knit a few rows of the waist yarn and take it off the machine. So that's what it looks like off the machine. It's already finished on 3 sides. We just have to sew it back to the mitten or gloves. And you can do the 4 fingers the same way, just different lengths and maybe a little bit less stitches. So that's what it looks like. I hope you liked today's video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.